to another episode of Jolly Up with KayRay with my co-host Bali, who's in the building right now.
Hey guys, what's up?
This is part 2 of our episode of our weddings getting out of control. Wedding season getting out of control.
Thank you guys for showing so much love to part 1.
Thank you so much for watching part 1 and a lot of love that we've gotten through the socials, and everyone's been really interacting with that
and hyping us up. Like, oh my god, put us in front of all the mics. We'll rant away.
If you haven't already, please tune into part 1 of our episode, whether it's through video or through our podcast. I think last conversation we kind of went through some of the experiences we've gone through as vendors in the industry. I was a vendor early in my career. What a journey that was.
Crazy experience.
And how much I've learned and how much I've decided, it's not for me. But I realized as I was editing this episode, I was like, there's some points I really need to make that are more on the serious side of this. I think we touched a lot of topics, and I think a lot of people, it struck a chord for them. And there was a couple people that were kind of like, I realized that TikTok is a different place.
Yeah.
TikTok doesn't know me yet, and it's a free-for-all, and it's a different app, and it's honestly changed the way social media works because, when I said accountants, you're an accountant, and you don't need to go viral.
People took offense.
The accountants got offended, so I want to apologize to accountants, but I also want to say that it wasn't just at you. You just ended up being the thing that came out of my mouth, but it's literally at all of you that are trying to be viral. Actually. Yeah, like I think anyone that's trying to make their wedding viral and guilty as charged as someone that's like made content, and my other content creators know too. That you're getting the most views, and that's kind of what I was trying to get at before. Is like it's such a shitty thing, and that's like what's wrong with our community is that you view weddings as like the end all be all, and then even people that are creating and trying to make some meaningful work. The things that are doing well and being successful and the things that you're ready to click on are weddings.
Exactly.
And so it's like...
And it sucks that other stuff doesn't get the same amount of love.
Yes. Yeah. And also as an accountant, you technically don't have to... In order for you to be online, no one's saying you can't be a creative online on TikTok. I think that's also another thing because everyone on TikTok is doing something and everyone's famous on TikTok. Everyone's gone viral on TikTok. It's kind of lost its essence and meaning of it. Whereas you don't actually have to be on TikTok to make your money. Whereas creatives is kind of what we turn towards, and it's also a way for us to go past the gatekeepers to make our own ends meet, and we're direct to consumer now. And I think a lot of businesses, that's why also they shifted to social media because it is a way for you to build your audience and connect to your consumers.
100%, like you said, I think the landscape has obviously changed in terms of that. Again, you could post what you want, be what you want. If you want to be social media creator,
you could post your wedding. No one
said
that.
Post it. That's not the issue. It's the idea, to go viral through the wedding channel. Are people gonna probably continue to do it? Probably, yeah.
Yes, they are already doing it.
They don't give a fuck.
Yes. Even the way we're posing for camera or doing certain ceremonial rituals and stuff, it's for the camera. It's that's what I don't understand about how we've gotten this far, that it feels like you're just watching a production happen.
Yeah, like the fucking vendors in India, the movie guys, that's literally what they do. They don't care about the natural moment, what's happening. They literally kill the moment. They're like, Penji dwara karo, look at the camera while you feed the laddu, and it's just like...
But they do that here. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
They said kiss... They're telling my mom to kiss my brother on his head. My brother's 6'2". My mom is 5'3". She can't reach.
Why is this
So now my brother has to go literally... He's crouching down for her to kiss his head, which she's never done. So
exactly. It's so ugly.
And then even my cousin just got married in July. Bichara, he's literally never in front of the camera. Never likes to do this stuff. They're telling him to hold his kirpan, the sword, and he's literally holding it, and they're face us now, face us again. No, one more time. A little smile. It's just I wish I could show you guys the videos
It's
because it's so funny and so awkward. And then like
funny.
telling my mama to hand over it to him.
Yeah.
It's just like, as a society, we've just done it and not questioned it. And I think that's what's driving me nuts. I feel like an alien sometimes on Earth watching everybody doing the most absurd things, and I'm like, hello, we don't have to do this.
Want to talk about absurd things?
What?
Proposals.
Oh.
Proposals in our South Asian Indian wedding community, the way we do events and everything, proposals do not make sense.
Okay. So I will counteract that because I feel like we grew up in the diaspora.
Yes.
So obviously we grew up with Hollywood movies.
Yes.
And, romanticizing the proposal. For God's sakes, promposals are a thing, right? So
yes.
Proposals have become this big ass thing that happens in North America. The reason why proposals don't work in our community is because no one knows you're dating.
Mm.
Now I feel like the new generation's kind of switched it up a little bit. But to be honest, you telling your parents about the person you're with, that's some serious stuff, right? Especially as women. If you're telling your parents, that was my fucking situation.
Yeah.
I told my parents, and it's like, yo, this means I'm being serious.
Yeah.
But like, and I was kind of scared to tell my parents because I'm like, oh, they're going to tell me, all right, that's it, let's do the roka,
Yeah.
But I feel like, that is the scare. It's like, yo, you tell your parents they're going to be like, all right, that's it, it's time to do the roka.
Next step,
Next steps, what's happening, when's the wedding?
Yeah.
Which is why I feel like this whole, why aren't you married yet? Why aren't you married yet? It's like 10 times because they know I'm with somebody.
Yeah.
That's why people don't do proposals really. They go to their parents, almost proposing to their parents.
Yeah.
It's like, hello, parents. I have someone. They said, oh, you have someone? Bring them over. Bring their parents over.
It's
and
a
then now it's
family. It's not
family
the typical
proposal
that you think it is.
Because families are now becoming part of the fucking proposal, right? And like rokas were like such an old school thing because rokas were really about arranged marriages.
Yeah.
So that's where they kind of stemmed from. It was like, okay, the parents showing pictures, printed pictures of the man. Which man do you like? The girl would be like, oh, maybe that one.
This one.
I think that one looks good. Then they bring that person over, right? There might be some sort of mutual involved, what they call as a bachelorette.
Yeah.
So they have a mutual involved. Mutual brings in the family. The family comes over. They're coming in for jaw. Literally a jalika.
Yeah.
and the girl is supposed to serve them jaw. They basically rate each other. The families are rating each other. And they're like, chal theek hai look. And then they basically, that's the proposal.
Yeah.
So that's how it started. And that's like, the roka. And then now we're doing rokas as like people that are like, no, it's a love marriage now. But I'm telling you parents that I have somebody. Then they're like, no, okay, bring him over and let's like have this arrangement. And now rokas have even become bigger.
It's equivalent to almost an engagement situation. It's the same
an engagement. So then now you're doing shuggan, which is money, which we'll go into about shuggan. Oh. I think roka should always be just a immediate family.
I agree.
But then you start doing these like, okay, we're doing the roka. Now we're going to do an engagement party. Now we're going to do... It becomes
two of the same thing,
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand. So let's go back to the proposals. Let's go back to the proposal. So if that's the case, you went to your family. You went to your family. You guys already made the arrangement. Okay?
They booked halls.
You've already booked the gurdwara. You booked your venues.
The wedding's happening. The families know they're happy.
You already did the engagement part even.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they've already done the engagement. Why are you now doing a proposal?
It makes my brain hurt every time. It makes my brain hurt so much.
Yo, there's no reason. And the worst part is they've already posted up. And that's the funny thing is, like, the girls be not posting up their man until they're roped. Like, okay, so...
Talk about hard launch.
Hard launch. Hard fucking launch. There's no soft launch in Punjabi fucking relationships. Yo, there's a hard launch, that's a rope, whatever, okay? They've been posting, they're like, yo, I'm already engaged. They can't say how long they've been with the man, but we all know they've been together for like 6 years.
Yeah.
And like, finally, they're allowed to post them. Why are you now posting, I said yes as a proposal? We know you said yes. Your whole family said yes.
I want to bang my head against the wall. It just doesn't. We don't have to do this. We don't have to do proposals in our culture. It doesn't make sense.
Especially if you did the rok.
Especially if your family's knowing that the rok has happened, like we're gonna get married.
Yeah,
as a couple,
I would say as
it should happen in the beginning of the timeline between the couple.
Yeah,
perhaps, but like that should be the first step to initiate the rest of the wedding festivities.
And that's the thing. I think that comes from dating culture.
Yeah,
I think the fact that we can't be open with our families, like I feel like now I'm starting to be open, and the fact that I do bring my man around and like everyone knows, that is like it's changed the way my family views dating, right? And also like my brothers were able to do that and whatnot, so it's interesting to be able to do that as a woman in my family. But like that's not the case for everyone, right? And like that I also didn't know it was going to be the case for me. But a thing in our community is that people are not able to say, okay, I'm with somebody until they know it's serious.
Yeah, at that point, the parents technically don't have to have met each other.
Yeah.
The girl could have met the guy's family.
Yes.
The guy could have met the girl's family separate. Yeah. So your parents are, each other's parents are going to be good.
Yes.
Now do your proposal shit.
Yeah.
And now do the roka and everything else.
Why are you now hiring a photographer? You're going to fucking get those people's, like, the marry me sign.
I hate the marry me sign.
Getting the, like, acting like this is, you're surprised, or you're wearing a white dress.
Acting like you're surprised is the best.
Yeah, and crying.
Because,
sister, I'm sorry. I'm not saying that you shouldn't cry. I get it. It's an emotional moment, but, like,
you know. Everybody just knows.
Then cry out your roka.
We're all gonna pretend, right? The proposal is just, we're both gonna just pretend to do this.
It's weird.
Charade of something.
It's weird, again, after you already got roka.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the part.
I think another thing that I think is important to address. People that are getting married, I don't know what it is about y'all, but all of a sudden you demand, and maybe because of the pressure of everyone telling you you're supposed to get married, and that's what you think, that now your wedding means everything to everyone else, and it should be everyone's first top priority. Bro, you're one of many. You're one of many people that are getting married. I went to a fucking friend's wedding, and bro, this person had 15 events within 2 months. They had their roka, they had their proposal, which they invited everyone to. Mm-hmm. They had Bachelorette. They had Bachelorette, which was out of town, like fly. I didn't even get to fly because I, like, basically had a death in the family, couldn't go. So, but I couldn't get my money back. So I paid for a Bachelorette that I didn't go to. Bridal shower. Lady Sangeet? Yeah. No, there's 2 Lady Sangeets. Then they had Mendi. Then they had Maya. Did Mahfil. They had which is what? How do you explain that to somebody?
Mahfil night is just a musical night.
Yes. Are we in Bollywood?
Yeah.
It's a production. There you go. Anand Garage. We had reception.
Yes.
I think there's more. I think I'm missing some. Oh, there's a pot.
Yeah.
And then I had to perform. And, like, mind you, I was going through a really rough time at that time. I was going through a very rough time. Like, I was dealing with a lot of stuff. I don't know. Do I go in?
You can go in. There's a lot of expectations from guests.
I was going through a lot. I was dealing with a lot of family matters. At the time I told you I had a close death. Yeah. So I was going through something personal with my family. And it was, like, a really rough time. I wasn't staying at home at the time. Me even showing up, like, this is how different my life was before, and how much I was so, like, go. Yeah. And then I wasn't staying at home, so I didn't even, like, I remember I went to, like, one of the events, and, like, people were just like, why are you late? Why are you not here? You should have been here earlier. I'm like, was the party not going without me? Like, I'm confused. And I just feel like people's disregard of, like, what other people might be going through is, like, so disrespectful. So lost. And as I mentioned in the last episode, I have asthma. So I also performed at one of the events. And again, I'm now also going to dance practices in between all of this. But then for people to just say those things or say those side remarks when you enter, it's like, bro, I don't even want to be here. You're lucky I'm here. I ended up performing for one of the events, and I had an asthma attack after, and I actually ended up going to the hospital. You were there with me, and it was like no one from that wedding party, except for one person, because that person also happened to be a nurse. No one from that wedding party ended up checking in, see if I was okay. Like, it was just like, and I was a bridesmaid. And so, like, felt like it was just like, I'm taking off so much of my time, my dignity. You're inviting people that have disrespected me. And this is not just this wedding. This is so many
all
weddings
across the board.
Yeah, so many. And I think this is the problem, is like, we expect so much. You expect them to take off the week. You now after COVID, you would think actually after COVID
it would be chill and calm. No.
You know, like, people calm down. No, some people have just gone the opposite
still
ends.
doing like 10-day events.
And I'm not saying you can't celebrate, you know, but you can expect your guests to be there and be there all day, every day. Like, some people are doing split events within the day, which I think is insane.
Makes no sense.
Like, why are you doing that to people? Why are you doing that to people? Your guests, like,
you can't expect them to show up then.
And then you're expecting them to all spend money on outfits. Yeah. If they're not already reusing their outfits.
Exactly.
Give you money, because Shuggan is a thing.
Shuggan is there for like half the events. Shuggans don't end.
Yeah.
Entire week, Shuggans won't end. Bring a lot of cash, guys.
Yes. You're giving tips to the bride and groom.
Giving tips, basically.
You said something funny. Meet and greet.
Yeah. I always feel like, especially what I've noticed as a wedding vendor, it's like a celebrity meet and greet. They come, I say, here's some money. All right, smile for a photo. All right, next.
Yeah.
And it's just, that's it.
It's like you're paying to take a picture of
it. Happens at the Nun's cottage. Happens during the Doli.
Yeah.
When they're leaving.
Yeah.
It
happens at the Maya.
It happens at the Maya.
It happens at Sangeet's.
Engagement.
It happens in the engagement.
Yeah. Wow.
At the Karmai, if they do one.
Maybe we should get married. Sounding pretty good.
Sounding pretty good.
Make a lot of money.
I honestly thought about it.
That's not bad.
Yeah. And people are counting how much shuggan you give, because that's why they record those parts, and that's why they want the videotape of that part.
It's because they need noting it down.
Aunties are noting it down. Uncles are noting it down, saying which one who said what. Then they be doing that. That's what I'm saying. The expectation is so weird. And expecting people to give you money during your wedding. It's like...
Indian weddings are a kiddie party fund. You just fund each other's weddings.
As a
community?
Yes.
Yes, that's what's happening.
It's a kiddie party. It's like a pool of money that you're throwing in. And then each time you get it back. You might get it back for a second, but then you also have to give it again.
Maybe that's why they pressure like their own kids to get married, because they want the money back. That's the actual motivation.
It's literally just to get
like, we're not getting married, my child?
Yeah.
How are we going to get our money back? I spent it on so many people's weddings. Well, you shouldn't have gone, Mom.
Yes.
You don't know half those people.
Yeah. Speaking of giving money around, I also think bridal showers and baby showers are fundraising events and charity events. Here's a list of things I want. Because I'm getting married. Yeah. Here's a list of things I want.
Please.
For baby, I could kind of, I understand. But also, you're having a baby. It's kind of your choice. Maybe it's not your choice. I don't know. But I don't know.
I get it. It's debatable.
Debatable. I'm not going to, listen. We're
already under fire, guys.
My whole thing is that baby showers and bridal showers, again, you're expecting everyone to just give you gifts.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to me. That's don't act like you want to have a bridal shower. Like, that's something you really want to do, because those fucking games are corny. They're literally to say, guys, if you want to give us gifts,
to shower money.
Here's my list of things I want. Why don't we do that for birthdays? Why don't we do that for
me getting a new job?
Why don't we do it when we had a company launch?
Yeah.
Here's a list of things we need to be we actually need investments.
If you're an investor and you would like to shower us with gifts or money, Our email is info@bythecollective.com.
Please.
We won't say no.
We want a shower.
We want a shower.
We want a shower.
For being businesswomen.
We want a business shower.
Can you buy us more mics and cameras, please?
We need equipment.
So
if you want us to make more movies and hire more team members to help us make these things, hello.
You know where our email is.
Investment goes a long way. You'll get great art from us. Yeah, I don't know about the Bachelorette.
I've heard some raunchy shit about bachelor parties.
What?
Just gun that happens.
Ew.
Guys.
What?
They just hired women. Hey, we support all types of work here. It's a safe space, but they hired women. They hired strippers.
Wait, prostitutes, you say?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Maybe not for the main guy.
Can you say prostitutes instead of... They hire women. Okay, thank you. They should.
They hire prostitutes, strippers. They're just going at it. Even if they're married. That's their excuse. Punjabi guys. There's a lot of gun stories.
No.
Yeah, like... This happened to a guy friend of mine. He goes to, like, his friend's bachelor party. They go to, like, the Caribbean islands or wherever the fuck they go to Mexico. They book a villa out. There's a whole bunch of Punjabi guys. Some are single, some aren't. Some are married, some have partners. But they'll hire a bunch of prostitutes and they'll just, like, do their thing. Even if they're married, they don't give a fuck. Like, they think it's fucking...
So disgusting.
Free night for all or some shit is disgusting. That's what happens at guys' bachelor Punjabi parties.
Do you know where your sons are at?
It's 10 p.m. Do you guys know where your sons are at? Check where your husbands are, guys.
Yeah. You have your dusty sons who are very problematic.
Yeah.
Are abusive.
The most.
Are creating ruckus. Like, literally, yeah, it's 10 p.m. Where's your son?
Yeah. But you know what's going to heal them, right? You know the only fix for them, right?
The only fix. If your son's out at 10 p.m., we have a solution for you.
Look no further than getting them married.
Get your son married today, and it will fix and heal all your problems. Just put it on your daughter-in-law. We are not responsible for your divorce.
Very good. Anyways, obviously not all like fucking parties. Yes. Like their guys are chill. That's just like adventurous shit, right? Of course.
So I love when people do like also like their trip together with their friends.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like fun. That's fun. Yeah. But I just think for people to just let out their like
aggressions
during these nights and just like. Oh yeah, everything felt like, oh yeah, let's just
like it's too much. Like too
Insane.
much. You know what it is with again, we've never grown up talking about sex.
I have. Speak for yourself.
I don't know who the fuck you talk to about sex because I know you did not talk to your parents about it. But
I have my parents.
What? Anyway, so we obviously didn't grow up talking about sex, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Okay. Like you say some vile shit that comes out of your mouth and it makes me uncomfortable.
Because I was comfortable growing up and I spoke about it.
What the fuck? What the fuck did you
do? To myself in the mirror.
Yeah, okay. So also everyone, Bali's a fucking Scorpio if that means anything to you.
It should mean nothing to you.
Yeah, it means that she would be the one at the bachelorette parties riding a penis inflatable thing.
My sign means nothing.
Again, we just never around that talking about it like that openly. It's just culturally been a thing. And then all of a sudden, we're in a room. All of a sudden, at the bridal shower and at the bachelorette, we're gifting you lingerie now. We're giving you penises.
Vibrators.
We're giving vibrators.
Penis earrings.
Yeah.
Penis straws.
What's happening?
Penis cups.
But when did that, like, what happens at bachelorettes where it's like, sex. Like, it's so, like, extreme.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm a nun inside, and so it makes me uncomfortable.
Debatable, guys.
Debatable.
Everything is debatable.
Everything is sex positive. I'm sex positive too, but I just get really shy. That's my upbringing. I grew up in a Catholic home.
Makes sense. Speaking of penises.
What?
Dollies. Things that make us cry. Why?
Sorry to everyone that heard that fucking segue. Let's get into it. Dollies.
So, me as a photographer who shoots weddings, I'm not gonna lie to you. My confession is that I will probably cry at your dolly. Dollies as a concept in this day and age, when we live in the suburbs and you're moving down the road 5 minutes from your mom, I think we can all as a collective decide and talk with their family. I don't think we need to do a dolly, Mom. I'm just moving down the road. After we're done the cottage, we'll take photos.
100%.
I'll just go over to the guy's house. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for lunch. We'll call it even.
Yeah. Dollies have become this scheduled cry that I don't understand. Yeah. And maybe that's a beautiful thing. Maybe there's something special in that.
Sure.
That like
symbolically,
like we know that this could be a very sentimental occasion as well. So yes, it's a very happy thing, but then also there's a little bit of sadness as well, and changes, and this is when it hit me that okay, dollies are really weird, is when you have to explain it to somebody else.
When you explain it to anybody outside of your community,
it sounds like the most absurd thing. Like, wow. And then I realized also, again, my brother who married my Bobby, who happens to be white.
Yes.
We didn't do the dolly. Because why?
And did the world crumble?
Did the world stop?
No, we're here and we're alive.
Yeah. It's fine.
Wow, would you look at that?
Would you look at that?
A miracle in God's land.
No. This is the full day. We've been awake for how long? More than 12 hours, obviously.
Yeah. By this time, it's probably, you could say, 3 o'clock.
Yeah, at least 3.
At least 3, 4.
At least 3 o'clock. It ends up being 4:30.
Yeah.
And
at this point,
you're sweating. You're tired. Yeah. You're exhausted. It's been a long day.
But no, you have a sali on the naka.
Yeah.
Waiting. A whole game.
What does that mean?
So Sali and the Naka, Sali are basically the guy's sister-in-laws or the sisters of the bride who are now gonna do a whole schmiggle-schmaggle.
Yes.
Whole games.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, Hunger Games situation for the guy. For him to enter to take their sister or the bride away from them, he has to do a whole backflip, jump in a wheel of fire.
No. My beef with this is why is it taking so long to come inside? I remember the first time I did it, I think we did it during my Mausi's wedding.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, my mom had a spicy laddu. She put a spicy laddu. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
It was only like a 1-2 thing. That's it.
You just did that. You're like, ha, hee, hee. Okay, that's it. Give us this. Yeah. No? All right. And
it's usually also...
paid entry.
Yeah.
Now, there's Family Feud. There's literally, like, hula hoop contest, tug of war we just heard. Girls getting cut up.
Jeopardy games.
Make a roti. Do some push-ups. Get a groomsman to put on eyelash. Anyways,
fear factor.
So I was a bridesmaid for one wedding, and I remember his groomsmen were so wild. Okay, so out of control. So the whole shoe shebangle. You've probably seen it in Bollywood movies as well, but like getting the groom's shoe during the wedding is like a fun thing the sister-in-laws are supposed to do, right? Or the bridesmaids. Yeah. That's become like a cute little tradition. I feel like it's gone too far. Because the last few weddings I went to, the last one I went to, the guys were fighting. Yeah. The girls were not even involved.
I know.
I had nothing to do with it. They had nothing to do with it. The girls did not even care to get his shoe.
Brawls.
Full on, there's tension. There's real tension happening. You seen brawls?
Yeah.
Actually?
It's running after shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
I literally, so the wedding that I was talking about, I was bridesmaids for. And that wedding, the groomsmen were chasing us, literally chasing us, grabbing us, pulling us, You don't know me, bro. I don't know you either. Why are you touching me? This is like every episode I just say about men. Why are you touching me?
No.
And grabbing me and pulling me and pushing me to grab shoes?
It's not that serious.
It's not that serious.
Let the girlies just have fun.
Just have fun. Why are you actually pushing and hitting
too competitive
and getting cut? Yeah, what are you doing, bro?
Sorry, not allowed.
No, especially because is this what you think girls like? Ew.
Ick.
Sure. Also, have another pair of shoes.
Exactly.
Just
Bring
call it a
back
day.
up.
Not
That's
a
it.
big
You'll be
deal.
fine.
And we get to the dolly part. And the dolly, okay. Why is the dolly at 7 p.m.?
Yeah.
But then the part where I don't like about this whole game fiasco, because it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Everyone's being so rude to each other about the money, and they're getting a little bit competitive, and it's getting weird. And honestly, I'm just like, yo, please, can we just go inside now? Like, this is so ox, man. I don't even want to do it. So at when I was a bridesmaid, I had to be, asking.
Yeah.
Yeah, give us money. I didn't. I'm like, you want to go inside?
I hate that.
Here.
I hate asking.
I hate asking.
And negotiating.
I'm like, I really don't know how to do this. I don't know. I don't like it. I'm okay. Sure, if that's what you want.
It's such a weird thing to ask. Hey, can you give me $10,000,
bro?
brother-in-law?
I just went to. Someone said 20,000. I'm like, bro, whose money down payment to just get inside? And like, no one knows each other enough to say these things, Anyways, so then I remember we were standing there peacefully, hanging out, just being like, yes. The boys came in with fucking silly string. They started silly stringing us and throwing water at us.
Okay, no. What
the
hell?
Yeah. I was like...
Why? Oh, that kills it.
It kills the vibe. Why aren't we doing it for the men though? If we're trying to understand, in this day and age, their lives are changing.
Yeah.
Or unless you're moving in with your in-laws, which is a whole other conversation. But unless you're moving in with your in-laws, then you're probably then yeah, I guess you should cry. But if you're both moving in somewhere, then do the dolly for the mom.
Yeah. Do a joint dolly.
Do a joint going away party.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, we don't need any more events. We don't need any more events. Please. And first of all, what do these customs even mean?
What do they mean? And that's what I want to get into.
We don't even know what they mean and what the origin is. The
dollies,
history.
especially, where women were leaving their pind, their village.
Yeah.
And most of the time, they were not going to see their family after a long time. It makes sense. It's and I understand people do dollies when they're literally moving away.
Yeah.
They're moving to another country. Yeah. There's a huge change.
Yeah.
But if you're living down the street, a car ride away.
Yeah.
I mean, you also just went to a destination wedding and they did the dolly there, which is hilarious to me. Because where are you leaving? You're going to the same hotel room. I had a friend that also did a destination wedding, recreated their dolly here for the video. Friend of mine that I'm going to make fun of you right now. And you made all of us wear our outfits and did a dolly from home.
Jump cut. Thank God for modern day movie magic.
Hey, man. We were just all of a sudden we're in the freaking Caribbean, and all of a sudden now we're in
good old
Brampton
suburbs.
in the snow. Does that make sense?
Yeah, total sense. Yeah.
But also the more twisted thing about the dolly is it's this mourning that our daughter is no longer ours.
Yeah.
Which is really fucked up. And that's a tradition that we need to question a little bit.
I'm sure it's a narrative in a lot of families still, but how daughters are paraya dhan, which means another's wealth, another's treasure. And that's the narrative that's being fed to her from the day she's born. Yeah. That, hey, we're not really family. We're not really ours.
Yes.
You're supposed to be another man's wealth, property once you get married. So that's the concept that I feel needs to start diminishing. Yeah. Who the fuck knows when? No. But that is linked to so much more deeper toxic shit.
And going back to what we were kind of joking about before is that pressure of everyone telling us, why aren't you getting married? Why aren't you getting married? And it makes you think sometimes family members, parents will say shit like, when you get married, my responsibility is done. But why is it that, like, that is what you feel, like, almost like you feel a burden?
That sentence, even if you don't mean it.
Yes.
It comes with, like you said, the intention of, my daughter is a burden. Mm-hmm. No, how is that supposed to make us feel?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Since birth, before we even are born. And we briefly talked about this too, like, why we did the concept of pink ladoos, for example, was coming from a more darker place, which was, unfortunately, the high rates of female feticide and infanticide in our community, which is the killing of baby girls before they're born and when they're born in Punjab, which had one of the highest rates in India altogether. And then that also being brought over here in Canada, which started becoming a really big issue, and where people were having sex-selective abortions, illegal ones. And that was something we were kind of petitioning, is like, yes, obviously abortion should be pro-choice all day, every day. But when it comes to sex-selective abortion, it becomes dangerous for our community, because a lot of women were taking pills and fake abortion pills. There were women that died from it. Seeing that happen and that becoming such a big issue, that's something I started becoming really passionate about. We started doing an event called Lodi for Her, which Lodi is a celebration of new beginnings. It's a harvest in Punjab. Newlyweds get celebrated that time, but also traditionally newborns would be celebrated as well. But because of patriarchy, people would only celebrate their boys. So we took it upon ourselves to start celebrating Lodi for Her, which was an event that we did annually through Nachbaliya, the dance organization that we had, and started that in 2011. It started off as like a media campaign, and we started doing radio ads and talking about celebrating our baby girls, actually doing a whole gala event, and having people bring their little like daughters and
I remember when it started becoming like a thing.
Because like literally like no one was celebrating their daughters, and like even when, and I'm sure so many of you could relate to this, especially for South Asian, when you hear that you're having a daughter, people almost do upsoul, so like almost like say give her their condolences,
or like chalo.
So something like celebrating Lodi for Her felt like a lighthearted way to kind of do it and make people think, hey, why aren't we doing Lodis for our daughters? And then also starting to like almost like wheel them into something like that feels fun and celebratory, and that's the fun side of Punjabi culture. But then here's the other side of our culture that we really need to address. After 5 years of doing Lodi for Her, the best part of it all is that we didn't have to do it anymore, because people were celebrating their own Lodi for Hers, which was so wonderful and so precious, that like we were able to create some sort of shift in how people were celebrating the women in their life, the girls in their life. Even with Pink Ladoos, that was kind of the same concept. We would go to different hospitals on International Day of the Girl Child and celebrate all newborns, regardless of gender, and give them pink ladoos, give them some sort of celebration and congratulating them. And then we also, throughout the year, people wanted to have us come over. We would come in with like a cute little pink ladoos and do boliyan for them and whatnot. So it was like a real celebration, especially for those who don't have that type of family that's like ready to celebrate. It was something so special to us,
especially as a community, for you guys to show up for them like that.
Now, as someone that just recently just had a niece, oh my gosh, why am I emotional? Ew, she makes me so emotional. Oh my god, it just feels full circle. That like, oh my god. It just feels full circle to be able to give that to her and everyone be so excited, and like my family went and gave michai to everyone and celebrated. It's like been 2 weeks, but like I feel like she's just been the light of our life, and I don't even know life without her.
It's important for these waves to, create a giant ripple effect in the community. and in the diaspora as a whole, and hopefully, you know, in a global scale, even back home and even in the smallest villages, I hope they're able to feel the ripple effect.
I feel like there has been a shift. Obviously, there's so much more work to do. But I just want to give a huge shout out to a few women that gave us so much during that time. One is Dr. Hishinder Kaur, who is a researcher and has her PhD in focusing on female feticide. And she was somebody that literally was the fourth daughter in her family. And she was inspired to do this work because she came across a baby girl in the village that was abandoned and was being attacked by local animals. The reason why she was because she was the fourth daughter.
Of course.
And so it just made her more of like a reason for her to just, you know, take on this responsibility. You know, I think her work is phenomenal. She talks about an entire missing generation of women that were supposed to be born and weren't. The numbers are insane. It's like 50 million that are missing.
Oh my God.
And then they're saying and that was like 10 years ago. So I can't even imagine what that number is now. And I do think there's been a shift. She did a specific research in her one brand that she was like focused on. The boy to girl ratio was so there's such a huge wide gap. After 10 years of her working with them, there was a shift in the numbers, which was so amazing. And the reason why a lot of people felt this way about having daughters is deep-rooted misogyny and patriarchy, obviously, that's embedded in our culture. Misogyny is so deep-rooted that you don't even know what's happening.
No.
You don't even know that you're participating in it.
That's also a reason why they didn't want girl child. That's why it led to female infanticide and feticide, because that also came with the burden of dowry.
Yeah.
We don't want girls is because we can't afford the dowry, which that on a societal level was fucked.
Yeah.
So it's just...
It became a financial burden.
Exactly.
And so especially if you're coming from a lineage of farmers or folks that can't afford it or lower income families, especially in India, like the gap between the rich and the poor is outrageous. And the upsetting thing is that it doesn't matter education level, because the richer you are, more money, more problems. And you know, the bigger the dowry was, right? So for those who don't know, milnies are when, like we said, two families meet for the first time, for the most part. But like the dads will meet, exchange garlands. Moms will meet, exchange garlands. Well, usually it was traditionally done by men, but now like obviously women have been included, which is nice. But so it has a controversial history. The real thing of milnies obviously comes from dowry.
So usually in exchanges, what would happen is they would give like gumbos. Gumbos are blankets that they would like pass on to the guy's side. Sometimes jewelry or like golden rings. So the groom is welcomed by the men from the family of the bride. They exchange flower garlands with each other, especially if it is a Sikh wedding. They also gift clothes and cash to the groom, which is an indication of bonding between the two families. That was where like the dowry exchange would happen. I think overall, just like this concept of like women being sold, I mean, that's where the concept of marriage comes from. It came from the idea of property, and women were considered property. So are we really participating in something that's making us feel like we're property? Are we still doing this archaic tradition? Let's think about it a little. Let's think about it, feminists. Because I only know one of the two parties who's actually changing their names. No, because that part, we're still doing that. We're still doing that. Why we gotta do that? I mean, that's one thing about Sikhi that's cool. Is that, you know, we were taught that have names that are just... we have a sovereign name, which is Gaur and Singh. And Gaur is traditionally for women. And Singh
is for men's.
Yeah.
But also genderless, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
And I think for that, it was like really the idea that women are not property.
Yeah.
Like they're their own beings.
Yeah.
And that's so revolutionary. But then like, bruh. And that goes back to what you initially said, that we feel like guests in our own home. We never feel like we're at home.
No.
The day I even gained a consciousness, like I remember, you know, like when you're like 4 or 5, all of a sudden you know things.
Yeah.
But you didn't know anything before that. It's weird. Anyways, I remember since those times talking about my wedding with, and my grandpa, like my Nana G and his brother would always ask me, "Where are you thinking of getting married?" And then I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get married at Dixie-Gordoro." R.I.P. My sweet Nana, who knew no better. But let's get into that part.
They didn't know better at all.
I feel bad for them.
They were child brides and grooms.
I give full...
We have empathy. We get
full empathy for our elders.
Yes.
Because they were child brides.
They don't know any better. That was their entire life.
That was literally their entire life.
They were born, and now they are wedded off and married to their...
Not even. Because they hit puberty. And they're like, it's time for you because you're going to change. We don't want anyone to look at you. Our honor is on the line.
Yeah.
Our honor is on the line if someone looks at you.
Not the honor.
Not the is it.
Not the is that.
Not the is that. And our honor is on the line. Someone looks at you, something happens to you, that's on us.
Can't
we can't handle that.
We're our own enemy.
We're our own enemy. The inner me is an enemy. Shout out to Nick Miller.
Shout out to New Girl.
A new girl. They're child brides. So what do they know? They're getting engaged at 13.
Yeah.
Dadi got married at 15.
Yeah.
My Nani got married a little bit later.
And some of them, we're talking about last names, some of them got their first names changed. Their entire identity got changed after marriage.
Yeah, my Nani's name changed. So yeah, she has every right to cry.
Yeah. She's like, who am I?
My Nani transformed. She had to mourn the old her.
Yeah.
She said, that old me is dead and gone.
Yeah, that's the reality of a lot of grandmas.
Yeah.
And
so and then my dadi was a freaking grandma by 38. My grandma was a grandma at 38. My grandma was a grandma at 38. The fact
that at 38 they just transformed into
and she was a
grandma.
Yeah, no,
versus just being like a regular lady.
Yeah. Lady. No, this is why we're tripping, y'all. This is why we're again having anxiety attacks and like losing our minds. Because, yeah, our grandmas were grandmas at fucking 40.
Doesn't make sense.
My grandmas were grandmothers fully 40.
Yeah. Same.
What?
Same.
And that's why they look at us like, oh, you old women. You're basically an old woman not married.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I understand the background of why they're getting upset. They're like, what? You're fertile at 13, bro.
Yeah.
That's it. What are you doing?
No life offers so much more.
Yeah.
That is one of them. Great. We love it.
Yeah.
But also more.
Yeah. I hope this episode gave you a little bit more information of why we were going as hard as we did on weddings. And I think we will continue to.
And remember, everything is debatable. So feel free to have conversations like this with your family and friends.
Yeah. But challenge the things that we've been doing, especially when it comes to these traditions and rituals.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening. I also want to just give a huge shout out to our sponsors. Thank you to our sponsors, Sambal by Jappe, who is our hair and makeup artist. And please hire her for all of your events, especially for your weddings. And then also, I like to give a huge shout out to Thrift Easy. They have over 10,000 items available for you to purchase. Secondhand, vintage, one-of-a-kind pieces. Make sure you check them out. And then last but not least, By the Collective with a K. We are a creative agency, production company run by myself and my co-founder, Bulajit Singh. Everything from branding, videography, photography, graphic design, web design, all of the designs, we do them. Make sure you check out our services at bythecollective.com. And on that note, we'd like to say thank you so much for listening. Until next time.
Bye.